Hi everybody, welcome to Push Luck Video. My name is Eric and today we'll be looking at Blood Rage. So Blood Rage is a 2015 release by game designer Eric Lang. He also brought you games like Chaos in the Old World, which I like a lot, and XCOM, which I did not really like a lot. Blood Rage is also brought to you by Cool Mini or Not and Guillotine Games. They also published Zombicide. Now Blood Rage is a 2 to 4 player game, and it plays about 60 to 90 minutes or so. And in it, players are Viking clans, different Viking clans, and they are vying for the most honor points by waging war against each other, dying in Ragnarok, and getting crazy monsters and just basically just bashing each other. I'm going to be reviewing the base game. That it was on Kickstarter and it had a lot of different expansions. It has a 5-player expansion. If you got in a Kickstarter, you can get a 5-player expansion. You can also get it later on via online and via online retailers. There are also different expansions. So I'm only reviewing the base game here, which plays 2 to 4 players. Let's take a look at the base game components, how to play the game, and my thoughts about the game.
Alright, so this is what you will get in the base game of Blood Rage. Now take note that some of these game components will be upgraded if you have backed the Kickstarter. For example, like I think the different markers here for the player board, alright, these different markers here will be upgraded. I think also you will get expansion, and there will be some the scoring markers will also be upgraded if you have backed the Kickstarter. So these are the basic scoring markers. But the base game itself does come with quite good components. So this is the scoring marker that you have. Of course, we cannot forget the star of the Blood Rage, which is the miniatures. So Cool Mini has always been very good with miniatures, producing awesome looking sculpts, awesome looking miniatures. You can see there's so much detail there. Not sure why this monster is wearing a loincloth, but there's quite a lot of details. You can actually, if you paint it, it'll look really beautiful. And then there's the Frost Giant, looks stunning. They're also quite big, and I mean quite nice to hold in your hand as well. All right. There are 2 other monsters here. There's this sea giant here, sea monster here, and then there's a troll. Right, you can see some of the details. You can see the details on the hammer. Yeah, it's all really beautiful. Take note that this sea monster has a very sharp. There are some sharp edges on the sea monster, so be careful when you're handling it. All right. So individual players will also have their own clans, which will also have their own miniatures as well. So they'll all look very different. For example, each clan will have a leader. So this is the leader, and all the leaders are holding a staff, right? So that's easy to differentiate. And for example, for this wolf clan, they have 2 different soldiers sculpts as well. These are warrior sculpts, right? So they all look very beautiful and painted. Each player will also have these bases, right? These are the bases which you can use to mark your own pieces, so you can know that this is your piece. And also, when you manage to hire a monster later on, you will also have a big round piece which you can put onto the monster, so that it will indicate that this is your monster. Alright, so there's a main board. You can see that the board is a pretty big board, so you need quite a fair bit of space to play. I managed to squeeze it onto my small review table, or actually it's just a coffee table, alright, to show you the game. There are these tokens, nice thick cardboard tokens, which I'll explain what they do later on. Over on the other side, alright, you will see that this is the player board. Each player will have 1 player board, which will show you the different areas, different upgrades that you have on your board, and also keep track of your rage, axes, and horns. I'll explain what all those mean later on. There's also a main game board, which will keep track of the turn or the rounds, alright, which round it currently is at, and also indicate which region will suffer from Ragnarok. Yeah. Alright. Finally, there's a game piece for Valhalla. This is where whenever you fight a battle and whenever people lose battles, they all put their miniatures, their minis here. Alright. So all in all, another good quality components from Cool Mini or not. So you do not need to worry about it if you are wondering whether the plastics are soft or not. It's definitely a very well produced game. So let's go into how do you play Blood Rage. Now, Blood Rage, as I mentioned, each player will first choose one of the clans one of the different clans that are available from the game. So there are 4 different clans from the base game. So you have the Serpent clan, the Bear clan, and the Raven clan, and the Wolf clan. So I've chosen the Wolf clan to show you the example. Now each clan will also have like these are like the tech trees for the clan. So the rage is like mana. So this is, if you have played Chaos in the Old World, it's very similar to magic points in Chaos in the Old World. So rage will indicate how many actions you can do during your turn. All right. Axes will indicate how many points you get when you win the battle. All right. Horns will indicate how many figures you can have on the board, right? Including monsters and ships. Okay. The player board will also, this is the rage tracker, so whenever you spend rage, you just move it down by the amount. Alright. You will see here the leader upgrade. So this is when there is a drafting element to the game. So when you draft the leader card, you just put it here so that you can show everyone that you have upgraded a leader. There are warrior upgrades as well, similar to leader upgrade. There's clan upgrades. So there's 3 slots for your clan upgrades, which means that you can upgrade your clan's ability to do stuff. Alright, there's a ship upgrade as well here. And then there's 2 monster upgrades. So this is where you put the monster cards to be able to control the monsters. Finally, the player board also shows you all the different actions that are available during your turn. So there's a very helpful, very functional player board. There is also a main board. So as I mentioned, the main board will tell you what you can do at what stage of the game. So the game lasts three ages. All right. At the end of 3 ages, whoever has the most points will win the game. Now, all right. So at the very first phase of each age is the God's Gift. So what happens is that you take the stack of cards from the main board there, and you deal 8 cards, not 6 cards, 8 cards to each player. Then they'll do a drafting. So drafting, you look at the cards that you have in your hand, you choose one card, you put it face down in front of you, and pass the rest of the cards to your left. Alright, it's always to the left. There's no left, right, left, which is a bit strange, but so you're passing always to the left. So you pass your cards to the left. Now the cards are what you can use to upgrade your clans, upgrade your leaders, upgrade your warriors, get monsters. There are also cards that allow you to when you do battle, they will increase your battle strength. Right? For example, like red cards will increase your battle strength. These black cards are for upgrades. Right? And last card that you will have is the green card. So green cards are like quests, which will give you points if you manage to complete them. Alright, so you'll be drafting the cards. So at the end of the drafting phase, you have 6 cards. Alright, so that's the end of drafting phase. Now we go to action phase. So action phase is where players in turn order, they'll do actions. So in turn order, you will choose one of the actions to do. Now, what are the actions that you can do? So here are the actions. Alright, you can invade. Invade means that you will put a figure from your reserves into a province, but you cannot put it in Yggdrasil. Alright, so what happens is that you will also, there's a rage cost for doing invade. So for leaders, it's invade for free. Alright, for warriors, it's usually the 1. So this 1 here indicates the strength of the warrior. It also indicates the cost of casting it onto the board, summoning it on the board. Alright, if you have upgraded the warrior, then it becomes more and more expensive. So alright, so when you invade, alright, you'll be putting your unit onto the board. You can put your unit onto any of the outer areas as mentioned, but you cannot put it onto the inner areas. You cannot put it on Yggdrasil. Okay. Now, the thing about invading is that if you see each of the regions, they'll have these circles on them. This will indicate the settlements that are available. So this also indicate the number of spaces there are in each region. So, for example, for Garo, alright, you can only have 3 units there at most. Alright, anyone in total there can only be 3 units there at most. So when you invade, you must also make sure that there's a space for you to invade the region. Alright, so after that, let's say I chose this region, I'll just take one of my units and put it down here, like so. So this is invading. Now the interesting thing about I'll mention the other things later on. So march, you are actually moving any number of figures from one province to another, and you just need to pay 1 cost. Alright, so you can move from anywhere to anywhere. Now, the interesting thing about this map is that there's no adjacency rules in a way, such that you can always move from here to anywhere else on the board. Alright, you do not need to. You're not limited to like moving left and right only. You can also move to Yggdrasil. Alright, so there's much upgrade. You pay upgrade cards cost to put it on your clan sheet. So as I mentioned, like for example, if I decide to use this upgrade a card, alright, this costs 1. So I'll put, after I pay the 1 rage, I'll put the card here like so, which means that now my clan has this ability. Alright, so the interesting thing about upgrade is that if you upgraded your ships or your monsters, so for example if I upgraded like this, well, they call it upgrade, but you're kind of hiring a monster. So when I do this, hire the monster, I can now immediately move the monster, invade the monster for free. So this is the troll, this is the troll. So after I do this upgrade, I pay 2, I can now invade with this for free. If I upgraded the warrior, I can also move 1 warrior down for free. If I upgraded the ship, I can also put the ship down for free. Now, the invading with ships is interesting because if you see the map, there's only 4 regions where you can put the ships. It is these fjords in between these regions. So this is where you put your ship down. So I can put my ship here. Now, the thing about these fjords is that there's unlimited space. You can put as many ships as you want there, but each player has only 1 ship anyway. And ships cannot move. Right? They can only die and then they can come back and invade again. Next is quest. Quest is free. So what you're doing is that you're placing one of the quest cards face down onto your board. So you take one of the quest cards. This is a quest card. Then you put it face down onto the board like so. Right? Quest cards will be resolved later on in the round. All right. Then we'll see whether you complete the quest or not, and then you get points if you do so. Last thing you do is pillage. So this is where most of the action will happen. So each of the regions will have one of these tokens. Alright, these tokens correspond to one of the tech tracks as well on your board. So whenever you must have at least 1 unit there. So for example, if I have a unit here, I can now declare to pillage Enolang. Alright. So when that happens, every other player, alright, in turn order, if they have a unit in an adjacent region, so either in Yggdrasil, in Gimli, in Utah-Grad, alright, will be allowed to move 1 unit into the space of pillage as long as there's space left. Alright, so including yourself, you can do that as well. So once the spaces is full or no one else wants to move in, then you conduct a battle. So what happens is that each player will choose 1 card from the hand. They must play 1 card from the hand. They do not need to play a battle card. They can play any other card they want. Alright, then they reveal their cards. So when they review the cards, you see whether it is a battle card. If it's a battle card, gives you strength here. So this strength will be added to whatever units you have on the board. Alright, and then there are other cards as well that you can play after battle cards are reviewed. Some battle cards will also have text there which you need to read, which may do funny things to the different to the battle strengths for different cards. So think of it like Cosmic Encounter. When you do a battle, then you play cards and then you see who has the most strength. So whoever has the most strength will win the battle. Now, if you are the guy, you have the person who declared pillage and you won the battle, you can now get this upgrade. So what happens is that this is the increase in rage. So now you increase your rage by 1, all right, and then you flip this over on the other side. Each region can only be successfully pillaged once per round. All right, at the end of an age, or once per age. At the end of the age, all right, anything that's pillaged will be flipped over again. So if this region has been pillaged, there's you cannot pillage it again. If you have won the battle as well, you also get points in terms of how far in access that you have upgraded. So if I was here, for example, I will get 5 points every time I win a battle. Now, if you did not initiate the pillage, but you did win the battle, alright, you will not get the pillage rewards, but you still get the battle rewards. Everybody who lost the battle, alright, who have fewer strength points than the winner is, they will move all their units into Valhalla. Right, so let's say if I lost the battle, I'll move my units into Valhalla, like so. Okay, and if there's a tie, then everybody would have lost, and they'll move all their units into Valhalla. Okay, now units in Valhalla do not they are just dead for this age. But at the end of each age, there's always a release Valhalla. stage where everything from Valhalla will be returned back to your reserve. They'll never go back on the board again. Alright, so these are the actions you can do. So players keep doing this until everyone has passed. Now the one very important thing to take note is that if your rage token goes to 0 for whatever reason, because there are some cards opponents can play that they will steal your rage, for example. If you've gone down to 0, it means that you cannot do any other action, you have to pass. You're effectively out of this age. Even though there are some actions that cost are free, for example, as long as you reach rage of 0, you cannot do any action anymore. So that's a very important point to take note. Some people will fall in this trap where they, I thought I could do it even though I have 0 rage and stuff like that. So you need to take note of this fact. So after you've done that, after everybody's done action, the next thing is to discard down to 1 card. So some players may not be able to play all the cards they have in their hand, or they want to keep it, say, for later ages. Right now they must discard all the cards down to 1 card. Next we do quest. So quest you review. Each player will review the quest they have in their hand and see whether they succeeded in the quest. So for example, for this one, you must have the most strength in Yggdrasil, which means your units must be the strongest in Yggdrasil. If you succeed, you get 6 points. Alright, let me try to get this in focus. Alright, if completed, you raise one of your clan stats by 1. So this is a very good quest to complete. This one, most of the quest though is like as long as you have the most strength in at least one of the blue regions, for example, then you will be able to get this. So most of it are like that. Most of the quest cards are like this. So you get 5 points, and if completed, you can raise one of your clan stats by 1 as well. The cards do get more powerful as you go on to the later ages. Alright, and it is like, oh my god, why is it so powerful now? And the later ages is quite ridiculous sometimes. After you've done the quest, you do Ragnarok. So whatever that is indicated here will now be destroyed by a Ragnarok. So in this case, you Utgard or Utgaro, alright, will be destroyed. So whatever units that are there will now all go to Valhalla, but they do not die in vain, because as a Viking clan, you want to die in Ragnarok. So for first age, for each unit that dies in Ragnarok, you get 2 points. For the second age, each unit that dies, you get 3 points. For the last age, each unit that dies in Ragnarok, you get 4 points. Right, and after you flip this over, place it there, and this is just to indicate which, let players know which region is the one that will be facing Ragnarok. The pillage token that was there is also discarded out of the game. Alright, and that region no longer is available for you to go. So after you done Ragnarok, you release Valhalla. Every unit that's inside Valhalla will be returned back to the players and put in the reserve. And then that's it, that's the end of 1 age. So you do this for 3 ages, and then at the end of the game, whoever has the most points, right, will win the game. So that's how you play Blood Rage. So let's go to my thoughts about the game. So that's how you play Blood Rage. Now, what I think of Blood Rage. Now, when I first heard about it, I wasn't too keen about it. It felt like a dudes on a map kind of thing, and I do not necessarily enjoy it some of the times. And I played XCOM and I didn't really like it, so I was kind of hesitant about trying Blood Rage. But I heard a lot of hype about it. I went online to take a look at it, and I thought to give it a try. And it's really fun. I'm glad I gave it a try. So Blood Rage, the drafting mechanism is pretty interesting, but you need to take note that you should let the players who are playing it for the first time take a look at all the cards, get a feel of the cards, so that when they do the drafting for the first time, they kind of know what they're doing. Alright, one of the common comments that I had was like, oh, there's so many cards, I have no idea what I'm focusing on, what should I be doing, and stuff like that. So it will be good if you let the players read through the cards, at least for the first age, so they kind of get a feel of what the cards do, and when they do drafting, it'll be much better for them as well. The minis are of course great. There's nothing to say. There's nothing bad to say about the minis. They're really great. But packing them and bring out to play again can be a bit of a hassle, because you want to put them nicely in the plastic containers and then plastic blisters, and then you put it back into the box again. So it's one of the common problems I have as well with a Zombicide. There's so many minis. They are packed nicely, but at the same time, it becomes a hassle to take out and set up the board and put it back again. So that is it's just a small issue, alright. But if you bring your game around a lot and you set it up at different places, then it can become a bit of a hassle. It's like a little game by itself to pack everything nicely into its own packet and put it back into the box again. The gameplay itself. What else about gameplay? So I like the fact that you need to manage the rage correctly. All right. If you and there are many cards that are very lucky cards. Lucky cards which allow you to steal rage from opponent. So when you want to go into battle or when you go pillage, do you really want to go into that pillage? Because if you know that player has a lucky card, then the player might just screw you over. The thing about the battle is that if you won the battle, alright, you need to discard the card that you play. So even if you did not expect to win and you play a quest card just for the fun of it, you might actually lose that quest card, which can be points for you. Alright, and as the loser, alright, whatever cards that you played will always go back in your hand. Even though you lose your units, whatever card that you played will always go back to your hand. So if you have that lucky card, which allows you to steal rage and steal points later on in the later ages, those lucky cards are very powerful. You can keep doing it and just be an irritant. You're just messing around with people. I'm just going to battle with you. I don't care. I don't care if I lose. That brings me to the point of that it's kind of weird as a Viking clan that sometimes you just want to lose. Alright, I mean, I don't care about winning. I just go into battle and just die. So it's like a suicidal Viking clan. So it's kind of weird for me. But I played it both ways. I played it as like suicidal Viking clan and just go around dying. I just create battles, but I just die. I played the other way where I try to win every battle that I can. I grew bigger, I grew stronger, and I just waged war and make sure I could beat down my opponents. So both ways work. Although I did win when I was playing as a ferocious Viking rather than the weak Viking. So that's kind of interesting. It does suggest that there are different ways of winning. Being able to draft the right cards is very, very important because they will kind of determine the tone of what your opponents will be playing and what kind of direction that you're going for your age. So it can be limiting, but it can also help to focus your attention on a certain way to score points. The monsters are really fun to play around with, even though they usually are one use in a way, because once you summon them, you put them on the board, and then they will just get into a fight and just die. Usually that is the case. Seldom have I seen one person take the monster and go around and stomping everybody. The bigger monsters, the frost, I think the fire giant, right, will come in only on age 3. So there's not much. You don't really have a lot of use for it. But when it comes in, it's really very powerful. So all in all, I really enjoyed Blood Rage. If you like this sort of dudes on the map and you go around, there's a little bit of area control, but at the same time, you're area controlling an area which will be facing Ragnarok, which will wipe clean again. So it's pretty interesting how it's designed such that the area that you are desperately trying to control will be wiped clean at the end of each round. So there's a lot of things to take note of, to play, to investigate, and to explore in Blood Rage. So I heartily recommend Blood Rage. Thanks to Kumini Not for this review copy, somewhat of a review copy. Alright, and thanks for watching.